Welcome to the Clopen Effect, a retail podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us today. I'm your host, Meredith.
And I'm your host, Cass.
Let's have some fun.
On it.
Yeah, that's what you have to do.
But then when you laugh, you're like, ha, 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 because you don't want to be like, ha, ha, ha.
Do you feel comfortable?
Do you want it down a little?
Or maybe move this a little bit for her, like this part, so just towards her a little bit more.
I like the chin idea.
We're just doing the sniff test around here.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, we're already recording, so.
Oh, hello,
everybody. How's it going?
Yay.
I feel like it's been a while, but we recorded last.
We recorded
last
we
Monday. We doubled. That's right.
Doubled.
We talked about
Doubled
anxiety, about pet loss.
Yeah.
And then we talked about Clopen stuff.
Yeah.
The awards show.
Yeah.
So yesterday, today's Monday the 15th.
And it's cold.
It's frickin' cold.
I think pretty much everywhere in the country is cold right now.
Oh, yeah, I'm
like
sure.
The whole United States, even Texas. Megan down in Louisiana, they had a snow day today.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, she was like one of 8 people
a snow day? Was it like 50 there? Is that why?
No, it actually snowed.
Oh, my gosh.
So everybody called into work because she's in Louisiana.
That's
so
crazy.
There isn't, they don't have salt trucks.
We called Steven yesterday and said, send some sun. And he goes, sorry, it's raining here. So it was bad in Florida, too. Although I saw Jay and it looked like they were on the beach. I don't know if that was an old picture or not.
Probably. That was probably a memory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, whatever, jealous.
Yeah.
They were all at the beach.
I wish I was at the beach right now. Not that it would be that warm, so maybe not.
Yeah. Well, today's the 15th of January, 2024. Can you believe it? 24. And yesterday, I usually don't work too much on the podcast on Sunday because I've been working on my book and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
And I looked and someone downloaded 188 episodes.
All of our episodes?
But we only have 140 something, but the same person. So I don't know if they were like, they deleted all of it and then they, added them. It was all from kind of like the same area.
Huh.
I don't know. We have some guests coming, so maybe just the same amount of people.
Yeah.
We're like, well, let's just listen to these chicks
Better
and see what
listen.
they're really about.
See what we're up against over here.
Yeah. Well, we have a guest tonight.
Yay!
Hi, Geri.
Hello.
We're so excited that you're here.
We've been trying to get with you for a couple weeks
I
now.
know.
I'm
The first one
terrible.
was my fault. Wasn't it snowing? And then I had to get my hair did.
Oh, yeah.
And then she had something come
I
up.
was
Yeah.
sick.
Oh, yeah, you
that's
were
right.
sick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which actually turned out good because you were here on Monday and then on Tuesday I started getting sick.
Ew.
And I was sick all last
I
week.
refuse.
It was horrible.
I refuse.
Yeah.
I may be sick in my head, but my body is fine.
Right. Right.
Nice.
There's a place that I shop at, and there is someone that I went to high school with, and he's a twin. And even in high school, he used to do this hacking cough. I don't know what it is. And I'm 39, so he's probably a little bit older than me. And he still does that. I'm like, what is
just
wrong with your
always
throat?
had it? It's gotta be
it's
allergies or
very
something.
loud, and you can see a lot of people look over, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it must be.
You know what drives me
It
nuts?
almost reminds me of a tick or something.
Yeah. If he's had it for that long, maybe.
Yeah.
The thing that drives me crazy is when I'm in the produce section and people do not CTC. They don't cover the cough.
Yes.
And they just cough on everything. And I'm like, come on.
I totally did that yesterday. So
in the produce section?
No, I was at home. I was sitting upstairs in the living room, and we have a chair and a couch.
Yeah.
And then we have a kind of a second living room.
Yeah.
And Steve was sitting on that couch, and I was so aggravated with being sick that I just leaned over and sneezed, and he was like, "Bless you," because I was just I let it all out. I'm like, "Fuck this."
Just let it go.
I didn't even cover, elbow it, nothing. He was like,
Nothing.
bless you. And you know how
Yeah.
he is with the germs.
That's
so
how
I'm
Johnny
sure
is.
when I went to bed, he probably Lysol'd the whole
He
living
did.
room.
Johnny
my
coughs and
husband.
sneezes on everything very loudly.
It's the season.
And he yawns very loudly. I yelled at him the other day. I go, why do you have to yawn that loud? Is that a man thing?
Okay.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes,
My
it
husband
is.
chews loud.
Well,
Like,
yeah, he does that
I'll
too.
be sitting next to him and be like, your mouth is closed, but it's still loud.
No.
What's
I was trying to take a nap on Sunday because it was reset day.
I love your reset days.
And I was half sleeping, but then Johnny, we were both on recliners. And he got up and he made a salad. I could hear him making a salad. And I'm like half sleeping. And then he's looking for something on TV, but he's eating the salad while he's looking for, and I'm just like, be nice, Cass. Don't yell at him.
I watched Fool Me Once, which I never watch shows. It's 8
that the one-
episodes. It's on Netflix.
Is that the one you told us to watch with Sandra Bullock?
No, this
Oh.
is another one. I think it's a British show. It's about like her husband. Her sister and her husband get killed, but then she thinks she sees her husband, and it all kind of wraps up. I got very bored with it, but I felt so committed that I finished it.
Oh.
8 episodes. It was like 8 hours of my life, but I wasn't feeling good, so it was like I kind of fell asleep
Yeah.
and then woke up and watched it. Anyways, I was sitting back in that chair that I sneezed in, and Steve decided that he was going to eat pistachios, like shell them. So he's got the noisiest bowl that you could ever put pistachios in, and he's going. And I look over once because I can't hear what they say, so I put on the captions so that I could freaking read what they were saying. I looked over once, and he just kind of smiled at me like, "How you feeling?" You know, like not even thinking about it. And then it was like, I'm like, "Oh no!" Oh, and I was already not feeling well. I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here! Go in your man cave, will you?"
Oh, I love it.
And he just sits there so sweet, like, "How
These
you
are
feeling?" He wants
third
to hang
world
out with me.
problems.
I know. We are terrible. Anyways, Jerry's here to talk insurance because 2 Wednesdays ago or 3 Wednesdays ago, we ran 9 miles together. Actually, it's very strange to talk to you and we're sitting. Because we run.
Yeah.
We're in Lake Geneva sometimes, you know, or it's been a couple years actually since
Yeah.
we've done that. We'll have to do that again this year, I think.
Totally.
And then I reached out to her because both of us have been running solo for so many years that I was like, I would love to meet you. I know that you just live here close, and
Yeah.
you know, so we tried it a couple Wednesdays ago, and now we've both been sick, and now it's been cold. It's like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
Runner's life.
Yeah, see you in April. It's
And
fine.
I yeah, right.
He's
So-
got a video chat on the treadmills.
Right. Yeah. Right. And while we were running, I asked her how her consulting was going with insurance because I know she started it. And she said, "Oh, I've kind of given it a break."
Yeah.
Right. But then I started asking all the questions and I said, "Please come on the podcast."
Yeah.
I think people would be very interested in this because I was interested in it. And I have such a hard time with insurance. I've talked about it
Who
before.
doesn't? Yeah.
You know, getting medicine as soon as and I actually had my insurance card with. I was like running and showing her. I'm like, "What do you think?" She's like, "Oh, that's wrong. And this is this." So I was like, yeah, you got to come on here. So please introduce everything about you and all that fun stuff. We'll stop talking now.
Yeah, nothing amazing. I just think so. Like back in the old days, makes me sound old. You know, they had home ec and that kind of stuff
Yeah.
to school. They don't teach these things
No.
to kids at all,
No.
or adults. You know, they just throw, like you said. Well, you know, I think we have a good package. They just give me all this stuff. I sign all these paperwork, and I'm good to go, right? And it's just like, well, they should have somebody there to, you know, help you figure out not just the policy, but how it works for you.
Yeah.
Because that matters. Like I was saying to Meredith when we were running, I was like, well, you know, when you're in your 20s and you get your first job and you get the insurance and all that stuff like that, like they always think they should get the Cadillac policy.
Yeah.
Like that's not when you want to get the Cadillac policy.
Yeah,
unless
right.
you have a ailment or something like
Right.
that you need that. You know, it's just simple little questions like asking yourself, how many times do you actually go to the doctor? Like how many times
When it hurts.
do you go just once a year for your
Right.
normal stuff,
Right.
or is there other things like my family has a few other things that they have to see the doctor more often?
Mm-hmm.
That's when you start wanting to make those decisions and have to look at that policy a little bit differently because it's just like now I want to pay a little bit more for a premium so I get more.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Right.
if I'm not going to use that more, why would I want to pay for it?
Yeah.
So if you're blessed with healthiness, with being healthy,
Right.
you don't have to get the Cadillac premium.
No.
Okay.
And I mean, even and it doesn't. It's not an age thing.
Yeah.
Although I would say don't go the cheapest route when you're getting to be, you know, like my
Yeah, like 39. We're all 39.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things start
Yes.
breaking. It's like a car.
Yeah,
Start
yeah,
breaking
yeah.
apart,
Your mileage gets up
and-
there.
Yeah.
You're more
Things
likely to
need be
trip and fall.
replaced and those kind of things. So it's like, and then if you're very active, you know, like Meredith and I, very active running wise. And, you know, we think we can do all those miles and stuff. And then things hurt more than
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
did.
Or you
10
just
years
don't know,
ago, or-
right? You just don't know.
Yeah.
You're running, you go into a hole
I mean, we've
or whatever.
seen that happen. You've had
Yeah.
it happen to you. You know,
Yep.
our friend Brenda had it happen to her.
Yep.
You know, those kind of things happen. But, it's just something. I just feel like there should be somebody that sits down and talks to you and answers those questions.
Mm-hmm.
So my work offers like a webinar, like during open enrollment.
But is it individual?
No, it's a group thing where you feel awkward asking questions.
Right.
And they just pump out all this information and
So-
you're like, I'm more confused now than ever.
So do you guys know what HIPAA is, right?
Yeah.
So why
But
is
explain
they
it to
do-
our listeners, please.
Why
Yeah.
is it for HIPAA? It's a health protecting act, basically.
Right.
Like, those kinds of things. Why is it that they have webinars? And this is a big one for me. Why do they have webinars for like that? Because you don't want
Right.
to get personal at those
I'm not going to be like, so last year at
Like-
my pap smear, they told
Yeah.
me this.
by the way, I've got the cancerous cells, or I've got
Yeah,
this. You don't.
right.
Why is it that because they don't really want to do it?
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
They're giving you the minimum because
Right.
that's somebody from unless it's somebody personally from your HR, that is somebody from the insurance company that is there to just sell you. They're salesmen technically.
Right.
They are there to sell you the premium. They wanted you to go with the Cadillac, even though you might just need the Volvo.
Yeah.
And that's what their job is. It's not somebody that's looking out for your best interest. So what I was starting this out with, I call it Health Insurance Simple. And it's basically when you have those kind of questions, you can just, come and ask me. Or maybe it's not even, maybe you're fine with your insurance wise, but maybe something happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got this pile of bills and this and that.
With
and you
codes
can't-
on
and
it
codes
and-
and
yeah.
rhymes and reasons.
Yeah.
And Meredith and I got a little bit into that on our run. 9 miles is a while,
Yeah.
just in case you're not sure.
all the questions.
But, just like I can help you get through like that stuff because you never, ever, when you see a bill come from a doctor's office, hospital, anything like that, you don't just pay it.
Right.
There's something called an EOB, explanation of benefits, that comes at you. You need to make sure that matches.
Yeah.
Because it happens more often than you think that they don't do it correctly.
Right.
And then your insurance is like, we're not paying
We're
for
not
that.
paying for that. Yeah.
So then they just send you a bill. And it may be something like Meredith and I talked about with the codes. It may be a code thing, like they used the wrong diagnosis. It may be they just submitted it wrong.
right.
Something simple. So now, if you get a bill and it doesn't match up what the EOB says, you need to call your insurance and say, hey, what's going up? And also being proactive for yourself.
Yeah.
Like I was explaining again, Marathon and I cough. Is she's like, I'm like, where do you go to pharmacy? She's like, I just go, to where I've always. And I'm like, well, what does your card say?
That's when I pulled out my insurance card.
yeah.
And she's like, well, I never even thought about it. And I'm like, well, that has a big influence. So you may be getting a medication from somewhere that it's covered, right? The medication is covered,
Right.
but maybe it's not covered what it's supposed to be covered at because you're not going where you should.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
So I'm just going to actually repeat what she said and I'll give I go to Meijer for my pharmacy.
Yeah.
And on my insurance card, it says Prime on there, and Prime is actually associated with Walgreens.
So that's
So
where
she
you
said
should be going.
you should be going to Walgreens. That's who they're affiliated with.
You know what? So-
no one has ever told me that.
I think even since I was a kid, my mom was union. My husband is union.
My husband's union.
So
and they're good insurances, but they're very specific.
Well, and that's the thing is like, my husband takes like cholesterol and stuff like that. And he pays for it and then sends it in and then they reimburse him. So, but now I've said on the very last episode that we talked that you were coming and
Yep,
Meredith
we
kind
did.
of explained what you were doing. And I was like, they told us our insurance wouldn't change. Now all of a sudden insurance isn't covering anything since he
Yeah,
retired.
see, so the best thing to do is to call the number on the back of the card and talk to somebody. They have people there.
Yeah.
Your member services. It usually says like a member services
Yeah.
line. Union wise, usually they even have somebody in house.
Yeah.
Specifically, I don't know what union he's in. My husband's the 150, and
What is 150?
it is 150.
No, what is 150?
That's a heavy machine operator.
Machine operator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Johnny's 152. He's laborer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So laborers have actually very, very good insurance.
Yeah.
And they do have an in-house where he can call.
Yeah.
And they can break everything down
Tell
for
him
them
what he needs to be doing.
I think they also have a website. I know R150 has
We're
a
not
website.
good on websites.
Well,
So when Johnny...
This is why you need to reach out to Jerry.
Yeah. So
She can
when
help
Johnny
you.
retired, we went and had our meeting with like the union rep, and this is what's going to happen and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, okay, now go downstairs and tell him you want to know about your basically HSA, right? Which we never knew
Which
we
is
had.
what? Tell our listeners.
Health
savings
account.
Okay.
Yeah. And we never knew we had one of those, right? And so the lady just looks at Johnny and she goes, did you know you had this? And he's like, no, so-and-so told me, and she's like, I'm going to kill him because nobody knows about it. And since this guy sends everybody down there, then she has to look up all of this information. She was a sassy lady, but she was hilarious. Anyways, so we found out we have like 10 grand sitting in this account that I think that's why they're not covering anything. They want us to use that for our prescriptions and our co-pays and everything before they cover shit.
Now, is
Yes and no.
HSA, is that something that comes out of his check? And
I'm
you
sure
pay
he was
into
paying
it?
it in his dues
Or
or
is
something.
that from the union?
It's
He paid for it.
There's some kind of benefit. Some give it as a benefit.
Oh, okay.
You get X amount of dollars towards an HSA, which can only be used. And so anybody that doesn't know, an HSA can only be used for medical usage. Now, it can be an office visit, medications, what have you, but it has to be all medical, and it has to be very well documented.
Yes.
Okay. I remember that
Yes.
happening where we worked, where someone was using her HSA card for like, she'd be like, oh, I think this will be covered for Tylenol or for Band-Aids or something like that. And then all of a sudden she was getting bills and it was getting denied,
Oh,
even though she
really?
had the receipt. So it's very specific.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say
Everyone's
just
a
the
little bit
doctor's
different.
bills, right? Maybe.
And then
or
usually there's a time frame that you can use
Okay.
it. So
Yeah.
it's usually for the calendar fiscal year
Yeah.
or depending on, so like ours is a weird year. Ours starts in April.
Mm.
So if we had an HSA, which we don't with our account, it would be April to March.
Yeah.
So, and it's really good to know those kind of things, like what your insurance runs on. Not everybody's a calendar year.
Yeah.
Because you can save, like doctors are busier usually in January and December because either it's people wanting to get their deductible out of the way
Yeah.
and then everything's free for the year. I mean, I had a free baby because of that, but
Yeah.
but then December, you have people that have met their deductible and they're like, well, I should get this done.
I should get everything done now because I don't
Yeah,
want to have
'cause
to
this
pay
is not
that
gonna cost me.
$5,000 again.
I've already paid it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm working in the orthopedic industry for a long time now with pharmaceuticals. And I have a passion, I guess, to have people understand this because I feel like so many Americans, so many people in general are losing out and are paying too much to, the companies, and they're just taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
You
agree.
know, like I would say, if anything you take away from this is definitely always look at your EOB. Never pay anything unless your insurance company says, yes, you owe that.
And
Yeah.
EOB is explanation of benefits.
Yes. It's a pretty
That
little
was-
paper that comes in the mail, and you
Every
probably
time you
don't
go
even,
to see the doctor,
Yep.
they send it to
Yeah.
you.
doctor, dentists too.
Yeah.
They can mess up too. They don't mean
Well,
to.
the dentist, God, that's like holy bones in your body that you have to give up a first child for them to cover anything on that.
See, now ours isn't. Like I think when Julia had to get something filled, it was $40. That was
Well,
it.
yeah, if you're going to go get a cleaning or a filling, like that's it. But if you want, like, I wanted a couple implants.
Oh, they
and
don't cover
They
that.
wanted out of pocket for 8 teeth. Not even 8 teeth. I think it was 6. They wanted $16,000 out of
Holy
pocket.
cow.
So they don't cover that?
No.
Oh.
That's like
Well,
only movie stars
Cosmetic.
are allowed to
Cosmetic.
have that.
well, are you looking at just your dental or orthodontics? Because
Well,
it would
that
kind
would-
of fall into the orthodontics.
Okay, so the only part that our insurance would cover was to get like the implants put in because that's surgery, but none of the teeth.
You may have only looked at your dental insurance. You can look into your medical side too.
Well, that's what I mean. Medical would only cover a part for the actual surgery
Okay, so you did look
of
at
putting
both.
yes, of putting the implants in. And that's what I would owe after my medical covered what it was going to
go
cover.
to Canada? Maybe Canada.
For real.
She always
I wanted
talks
to go
about
to
going.
Tijuana.
Yeah, that you always talk about that.
Yeah.
It's like $8,000.
Yeah.
Done for all of them. I
Did
could
you
get
know-
And people
all
are
of
very
them.
happy with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you hear in the news that we are now getting some medications from Canada?
Good.
Oh.
And Mexico? Dude, there's
Just-
people that go
just-
monthly down to Mexico to buy their
Are they
asthma
free
stuff and everything.
from Canada, but we still have to pay for
Well,
it? That's
so
what I'd
there's
like
a-
to know.
Well, of course. No, but there's a backlog in a lot of medications right now.
Yeah.
There's just a
Mhm.
shortage
Yes.
in the U.S. mainly.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Which is weird.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, it
That's
makes you just-
suspicious.
your smoke starts coming out of your ears, like
Yeah.
turning like, I wonder why. So, but some very important medications. Funny enough, the one that came up with this was Florida. But you got to figure you got a bigger elderly population there.
Yeah.
So, they're going to do a test run for some, I believe some of the I don't remember what all the medications are. So they are getting it and they're making a deal with Canada. And
What about Mark Cuban's thing? He had a thing going on. Mark Cuban
Yeah,
from
he
Shark
did.
Tank,
Yeah.
He did.
where he was going to make drugs like affordable and stuff. And I haven't heard
Yeah.
anything about it since.
Well, think about it. Big Pharma is Big Pharma.
Well, I
Yeah.
know.
I can't really say that because I work for one of
Yeah.
but
Burner.
you know,
Yeah.
no. Well, I mean, I do and I don't. Yeah. So, but
At least
yeah.
you're compassionate about it.
I am very. I mean, when I started this, I had a few things that I wanted to do when I first started doing health insurance simple. I did a website, I did my Facebook, and I just wanted people just to be able to ask me questions. And, if I was able to make some money off of it down the line, that's great. But the education alone is more
Yeah.
my passionate part. Because how I started getting interest in this was when I worked for the orthopedic doctors, great doctors, by the way. One of my surgeons always had me go into the room and talk to the patients for two reasons. A, to go over their insurance with them, to make sure I had the right information. That's knowledge, that's the very important.
Yeah.
B, also is, men of the younger persuasion usually didn't have a doctor and needed a physical for a surgery.
Yeah.
Oh.
So a lot of times I had to direct them. The women I usually didn't have to worry about. They had their primaries. I just went over the steps
Yeah.
of what they needed to do. Hey, you're going to have to go see your doctor, get a physical done, make sure, I just went in for my routine physical. I go, yeah, surgical physical, a little different.
yeah.
They want to make sure, I'm sure you probably just did it, but you might want to just double check that the ticker's working great, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, because anesthesia, you just want to double
Fucks with
check on
you,
that
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, so they were all about that. It was just taking that one-on-one time. But then just a lot of times when it came to not necessarily the physical part and getting that stuff done, insurance-wise, they're like, well, what's going to be covered? Blah, blah, and they just had no idea.
Yeah.
None at all. And like what a deductible is.
Yeah.
What a co-insurance is. All those things. They just were just, what do you mean? And so
And just like you said, because there's nobody out there teaching us this stuff.
No.
I
You
just
don't learn
think
it in
that's the
school.
class.
You don't
I
learn
think
it in
that should
college.
be like one of your electives. Like you take Spanish. I mean, I'm not saying
Yeah.
that's not important, but like during high school, you should have a 6-month course that just goes over doing laundry,
Yeah.
balancing your checkbook. I know we don't have a checkbook, but
You should know
like,
what's
just,
coming in and out, though,
Right.
for sure. Yeah.
not being detached from your
Making
money.
a budget.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
having a
call
budget.
it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just some of the little basic skills.
401ks.
401ks,
Yeah.
yeah. Mutual funds, all that things. And just go over those things in just even a basic sense.
Mm-hmm.
And insurance is a big one. It's a big one that just like they just figure, they'll learn about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where they think we're going to learn about it.
And it's
They're gonna-
overwhelming.
They think they'll learn from their mistakes. That's fine.
Well, I mean, I think
they'll
they
pay us
think-
too much or not enough, and then they're going to have a lot of bills. And,
or their parents will tell them or something like
Yeah.
that. But who told their parents?
Nobody.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
my mom never went
Yeah.
over that stuff with me. I don't even know if she knew.
My great grandma, her social security number was 000001. You know what I mean? She was 94 years old, and she was still paying this insurance that my great grandpa had started when they were in their 50s
Jesus.
for if you got cancer. You're 94.
The if
You're
is gone.
94. Yeah. Like, stop paying that shit. And it was like $300 a month.
Yeah.
And she's living on a fixed income.
Oh,
you know?
gosh.
Yeah.
And it was only for
It was
your
it
diagnosis
was for a very
was cancer.
specific, like, if you happen to die this way, then we will
gonna
pay
cover
your
it.
Oh my
we'll pay your
gosh.
funeral, you know.
I wonder how many other people were
But
paying on that.
I'm wondering why my great grandpa got that. Like, what were they exposed? Was he like, this is fucking asbestos?
Right, right.
Is this lead poisoning?
Right.
Is this,
Was it
you know what I
a
mean?
door-to-door salesman that
Yeah.
came in and said,
You know,
hey, this is what's going to happen?
I don't think my grandpa would do that. Like, I don't think he would fall for that. But he worked with a lot of stuff, you know?
Yeah, you never know.
So, yeah.
So he's just-
He
well, I
lived
mean,
through a couple wars, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, my grandfather, when you say it that way, I mean, my grandfather had 2 brothers and 3 sisters. Even my grandfather died from cancer.
Yeah.
All of them. So
They were-
something like
like-
that would make sense for
Right.
Yeah,
him.
for sure.
I feel
for
like
sure.
cancer was up and coming, very scary. Everybody insure yourself from it.
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
yeah.
And now there's so much other stuff. It's like, what do you choose? What do I want to die from? Let's see. And then you pick what you think is going
Now
to be your best policy.
Everything's
The punch
cancer.
card.
Yeah.
I'm going with this one.
You get a bingo.
This kind of has a selection of everything. Let's just
Bingo,
do,
I got it all.
Oh gosh, I always say, longevity's in my family. Like we
Mine
all
too,
live to
yeah.
be forever.
Yeah, I'm trying to
gonna get
break
hit by a
that.
bus running.
Yeah.
So is there a policy that covers that?
great. Yeah.
because that's actually
That's
that's
accidental
absolutely
death.
going to happen.
That's your accidental
All right,
death
good,
insurance.
good. I think
Yeah.
I'm covered.
So you got
then.
it.
I'll look. I'll check.
Your
I'll,
husband will
I'll
get
Jerry look.
2 times your income for the year. you
Yeah,
know? Yeah.
that'll work.
Yeah.
So I needed someone like Jerry 23 years ago when Julia was born because she's my $1 or
Yeah.
$2 million baby because 15 hours later she was in surgery, and all that kind of fun stuff because she was missing body parts. And we got the EOB and I'm looking through it and it was just so overwhelming. Plus I'm a new
Yeah.
mom. She
Yeah.
was my first new mom. She was still in the hospital for a month.
Yeah.
And so all these papers are coming through and they're
Yep.
books and books. And what really got me mad, and the only thing that I knew to zero in on was all the doctors' names. Like, I don't remember seeing this doctor. Who's
Yeah.
this doctor? Who's this nurse?
Oh,
And they
yeah.
all, had their lists of, checked on them, checked on her, and it was 1 hour and it was, $500. And it was like,
What the
it was
hell?
an unbelievable thing, overwhelming. So you'd be a perfect person, I would think, that if someone is going through this kind of thing where
Yeah.
first you don't want to think about that kind of stuff because all you're
Yeah.
thinking about is, your baby and then healing yourself
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah.
But then you get this book of a bill or an explanation, I should say,
Yeah.
right? It's not actually a bill yet. And then they'll tell you what your insurance covered and what you're not. And then you just don't understand. Like, well, how come my policy is not, I thought I was paying for the best policy. How come it's not covering all this? And,
Yeah.
it ended up putting us in debt. I had like some bad credit for a while because I just didn't understand it. I don't know if it was,
I would
maybe
have just went bankrupt. fuck
50
that.
grand. And I never did.
Yeah.
I fought that.
Yeah.
But it really did ruin my credit because of
Sometimes
medical
it's
bills and stuff.
almost
And I
better.
finally turned it around like,
Yeah.
15 years ago
15,
or something.
But how long did it take you to turn it around?
5 to 10 years, right? She's
Right.
23. So I
And
would say like,
So then the worst thing is maybe you put some of that on credit.
yeah, but I always pay off my credit cards.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter,
so
though.
up
Yeah.
into more recently, medical bills, they could not affect your credit unless
Right.
you weren't making, you could literally pay $1 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As
Or-
long as you were paying on it, it could never go towards your credit score.
You could just go bankrupt, say fuck all those medical bills, and then
they're
7
gone.
years start over
Yeah,
again.
I don't know why
You
we
know?
did. I just wanted to fight it because I remember being on phone calls and back then it was emails and how come this is like this? How come? And they just never had an answer.
Yeah.
Well, this doctor's for this and this. Well, she was in ICU. What do you mean? This doctor is like somewhere else. It was
Yeah.
for bones or something. There was nothing wrong with her bones or,
Yeah.
so it was just very like, I feel like sometimes, now I don't want to say that they do.
Yeah, we can say they're
But I
shitty.
feel like, maybe they
This
put their
is-
name on somebody's stuff. I don't know.
So
It
my
just
mom,
felt like
my
it to
mom
me.
does a lot of construction work, right?
Yeah.
My whole life, and one of
Her mom's kind of a badass.
the things that she bitches about that always like gets me. She goes, I go work at these hospitals and they have us putting in these huge fountains and gardens and all this fancy stuff. And I'm like, this is a fucking hospital. What do they need a fountain for? You know,
Right.
like,
Well-
let's focus some money on the people. Like,
I
you
get
can have
that,
a nice
but
building.
like when your person is dying, it's
Yeah.
kind of nice to have somewhere to go.
Okay, I took you for your butt check, right? And they had a beautiful garden. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. But, you know, she does
I mean, it doesn't have to be elaborate, but just like
Right.
one room would be good.
you know, and it's like so extravagant, some of these hospitals. And she's just like, why are we so focused on what the hospital looks like?
Yeah,
Like,
it's funny that you say
you're
that.
supposed to be getting better and getting the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
You know?
It's funny that you say that because going back to when Julia was born, all I remember is the chairs and the carpet. I don't
Yeah.
remember anything else.
Right.
I probably could walk through that hotel. I slept there.
Yeah.
I could probably walk through that hospital and be like, oh, I don't remember anything. All I remember
Yeah.
is
No.
white hallways, chairs, and carpets.
Yeah.
So I don't even remember the fountain. So I
No.
kind of agree with Mom. But then
Yeah.
I also agree with Geri, too, because if there's someone that just needs that relaxing, calming water or something to stare at, but I don't remember any of that.
No.
So I guess
Same
just
for
different
me.
people.
The
Yeah.
uncomfortable chair I got to sleep in for both
Yeah.
his surgeries. That's what I remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dumb hospitals. Saving people's lives.
So can we talk about the level of policies? I know we kind of chatted with our 9 miles about
everybody
it.
has different depending on, like, I know, like with my husband's 150, your mind can get boggled because they have, I think, 6 different options.
Okay.
So it all depends on your job. And we kind of, I guess, brushed on it earlier when we were chatting, how we were like the Cadillac versus the fall. So like you're going to weigh out how much you're going to go to the doctor and how much you need covered.
Okay.
And what kind of medications you take. Like, are you on something that you're going to need some coverage there? And a lot of times you can piece some of it together, but if it's through your employer, they're kind of laid out. So you're going to look at, like, you start at the bottom and see what that would cover for you. And usually that one, the premium's usually a lot lower. And the premium is, for anybody that doesn't know, is the cost you pay for your insurance monthly. And sometimes your insurance, your employer picks that up, or sometimes you have some of that you have to pay. Or if you have like self policies, you're going to have to pay that all yourself.
Yeah.
And then your deductible in a policy like that, that's going to be higher. So you're paying less up front because your deductible is going to be higher. Usually because you're not probably using much of it.
Why do we even have to have a deductible? I know you don't know the answer to that.
I
I'm just,
don't know
you
the
know,
answer. I'm sorry. I know a lot about insurance, but it,
that blows my mind. That's like, I'll compare it to car insurance. Knock on wood. I never fucking use it. But the first time I need it, they're like, well, you got to pay us $5,000. You know,
speaking
like,
of car insurance, why don't you get much of a choice in that?
yeah, you get nothing.
Like you either have to pay for something that's going to give you some kind of coverage,
Yeah.
or you don't.
Or
your
you
chances.
pay, your minimum, your liability, and then you're fucked. Start
Yeah,
at
right,
square
right.
one.
Yeah.
If you crash your car. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's gross.
So I
know.
don't-
Insurance is gross, all of it.
It's so gross.
But half the reason that we have car insurance is because people don't have driver's license.
Yeah. That's pretty gross.
So when I
Because
saw
your
that
car
bad
insurance
accident
Doesn't pay
over
for
here.
your accident.
Yeah.
Right.
When I was a witness to that really bad accident that was down over here and I was in court having to sit waiting, they waited and let us be last because it was death.
Yeah.
And almost I would say 90% of the people that went up there are people that got pulled over and didn't have insurance. So the judge would say, okay, so you got pulled over for speeding, but you also didn't have insurance. Do you have proof of insurance? And the person would say, yep. Okay. And that would be it. They'd close it. And then the next, I'm telling you, 90% of that courtroom was all people that didn't have insurance. So do not get into car accidents. Just don't do it.
Yeah, I
don't chance it.
I was in a car accident with somebody that didn't have insurance and rear-ended me, and so I just got to pay that all out of pocket.
Ugh.
That was awesome.
Gross.
Even had to take time off of work to go to the court, and they got the judgment against them, and they were supposed to pay me. Well, they still haven't.
Right.
And I get it. You know, you're minimum wage because we're a retail,
Yeah.
you know, right? So you're trying to afford the car. Thanks, my brain. And the gas to get there, and just
car insurance.
regular. Well, no, that's the last thing that you'll do is you'll think
trying.
about. You think about paying for car insurance.
I'm sure
but you
every
don't.
time you get that enough money saved up, something happens.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Kid falls down and breaks their arm. Got to pay your hospital deductible
before you pay for
insurance.
car insurance. I don't know.
Yeah. So, basically, there's going to be levels of policies, and you're just going to have to it usually they do have somebody on the insurance side once you pick the policy.
Yeah.
But then you're stuck with it for a year.
Right,
Pick the wrong one. Unless you get lucky like us. I said there's
Yeah.
you know, so if you work for like a union company and some of your bigger companies, they do have somebody, right?
Yep.
But, you know, I also don't like it all electronic either.
No,
I want somebody
right.
to come and have a chit chat with me and explain it all where I understand it.
Yeah.
We literally have a broker for our like homeowners and auto insurance and stuff. And like, it's so old school, but it's such the way to go because they'll be like, no, you don't need that. You need this, you know, and just do this and get an umbrella policy and then it's all covered and you don't have to worry about it, you know.
Wait,
then
and you can call a
there's all
local
these
number and they
words that
answer.
you don't know.
Correct.
Yeah, right. That too.
Yeah.
Or do you ever see that commercial where I think it's an Allstate commercial and he's like, don't print the internet? I'm like, hell I do.
Yeah.
If I need to remember something, I need a physical piece of paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, I print the internet occasionally.
Yeah.
I need to have like I'm sorry, I probably just aged myself, but yes, I totally do print
Yeah.
the internet occasionally.
Where's my booklet? I need my booklet.
Yeah.
You go to the doctor, they still print everything off for you.
Yeah.
I had a physical last week and she walked with like a book. Okay, here's all the stuff that you have to do. And it's all highlighted and stuff. I'm like, wow,
God.
am I holding a piece of
What
paper
did you
right
have
now?
to do?
No, it was just regular.
Oh.
No, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. But it was just like, here's all
Yeah.
the medications that you're taking and keep taking your vitamin D. But it was like papers and papers. I was like, oh, okay. You're not going to just put that in my chart online?
God.
Well, you know, like that works most of the time
Yeah.
for me, but just things like I have to remember to do, like I got to sign Colton up for camp.
Yeah.
I want to physically look at it and
Yeah.
figure out what I need to do
Yeah.
for that and like what days he needs and stuff like that. You know, like I get put in a chart, like if you're good like that, but then you got some people getting to be my age that
Yeah.
might need those papers and like, what did they tell me to do? Or always going to have to tell your significant other, you know, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with the kids. Like I
Right,
never
right.
send, love him to death, but never send my husband to anything that I'm going to need to know the information
Yeah.
from because I won't get it.
Yeah.
Or I'll have to, it's like tug
Pulling
of war.
for- yeah.
It's like, okay, what about this? Did he answer you about this?
Oh, yeah.
Did
no,
he
they
do
didn't
this?
say nothing.
Oh.
No, it's fine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did say something about that. I'm like, you know, when I asked, do you think that would have been part of the explanation? Maybe? No? Okay. Yeah, that's why I don't
How do you
check
feel
on you.
about
Damn you. Damn you.
dental and eye policies? Are they good? Should we buy them? What do you think?
Luxuries. Those are
I know,
luxury
I have it all. I just check mark all the boxes.
Someone
and be
just
like,
said,
we're all
why do I
covered."
only have insurance, good insurance from the neck down? Like my eyes, ears, nose, throat, and teeth are part of my body. Why do I need a separate?
Sure,
policy for
sure.
all those
Yeah,
things.
you know.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair either whatsoever. But, you know, the things that go wrong for most of the people are below
Neck
the
down.
line.
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, this is still
Your brain.
Your brain. Yeah.
whatever. You know, it's going to be when you make an appointment, your due diligence, you know, people might just say, hey, go to this guy. This guy's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
You've got to call. I
Yeah.
mean, you can ask them, and they're most likely going to say they're in network. Or I went to a dentist one time that didn't tell me that they're out of network. They were in network with no insurances.
Oh my God.
None. Zero. Zilch. And it wasn't, luckily.
Call them out right now. Call them out. Let everybody know not to go there.
But
Are they local?
No, they did it intentionally. They
Yeah.
did it intentionally because
Yeah.
it worked better for them that you then paid up front
Yeah.
and then you did the work. So he didn't have to do any billing.
Yeah.
So that was how he wanted to run his practice was I don't have to do any billing then. I don't have to worry about paying premiums because just like you're paying a premium to be in network with those insurance company, they have to pay in for that
Right,
too.
right.
You know,
So we have iMed, and you have to do the same thing. You have to find someone in network. You
Yep.
go pay all up
Oh
front,
my
then you
God.
send your receipt, and they might send you a check back
Oh,
for the whole
God.
amount. Yeah,
Costco has covered that under iMed though.
Oh, there you go.
good to know.
You got
Yes, because I got
Costco.
iMed
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So iMed, you have to pay a lot of out of pocket.
Yeah.
But they cover everything.
So Steve went to a local doctor here that we actually like. She had moved into a different city, and he thought that everything was fine. He brought it. He paid everything up front. It was a lot of money, and came home, sent the receipt off, and they were like, no, we don't. That doctor's not in. And we're like, oh shoot. So that's good to know.
Yeah.
We'll go
I
to
had a
Costco.
dentist tell me that they were in network, did a bunch of work on my teeth, and then come to find out they are, I'm doing air quotes, in network, but it's not it's not like a primary one that they want you to go to.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez.
So I ended up paying double what I would have normally paid for if I actually went to an in-network.
You've had bad luck
dentist.
with that.
That's why I don't go anymore.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, unfortunately you have to do all the work yourself, or you're gonna.
Yeah.
You know,
I
get
just
screwed.
commented the other day on a TikTok because, okay, here's a scenario. This lady calls up her doctor's office, her gynecologist's office. Hey, I got an issue going on. Plus, I'm due for a physical. So can I make an appointment with Dr. So-and-so? Oh, Dr. So-and-so, he left 6 months ago. She's like, what? I didn't get a letter that he left. And she's like, oh, yeah, sorry, nobody did. We didn't send out a letter. He left. He retired. She goes, well, what about the other doctor? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, she moved over here. And she's like, well, what the hell? And she goes, well, what's a doctor? Like, I got something I need to take care of, And she's like, oh, well, we have this new doctor. I can set you up for an appointment with him. And she's like, okay, well, like I have this thing going on. Plus, I need a physical. And she's like, okay, we can see you in April of 2025. And she's like, if this is an emergency, though, you need to go to. And she's like, well, it's not an emergency, but, like I need to get it like taken care of, And she's like, okay, we'll see you in April of 2025.
Jesus.
And I go, this is why when my primary care doctor retired in like 2012, I just go to urgent care.
Yeah, there's a lot of urgent care.
They go, who's your primary doctor? I go, this doctor. She retired in 2012. They
Yeah.
go, well, here's a pamphlet. I don't need it. I just come here if something's wrong.
Yeah.
And if it's an emergency, I'll go to the emergency room.
Yeah.
I-
Yeah,
this
a lot
is
of people
what
do
you've
that.
made it
I
be.
will say
Yeah.
though, I have a pretty awesome primary doctor.
Yeah.
It took a while finding her.
Yeah.
But
So did I. And
She's-
fucking bitch retired.
thank God she's young. 'Cause
Yeah.
She
Yes.
is awesome. So no offense against pediatricians, but man, I mean, my all the stuff I was going through with my middle one, like, and the ADHD,
Yeah.
the pediatrician just did not support me. I mean,
She was just
you
like
know-
Adderall.
You know what a pediatrician is supposed to do, right? Like, you have a baby
Yeah.
and you have all the questions. They are supposed to support you
Yeah.
and like answer those questions.
Try to
Nah.
try to find a doctor that will look at you while they're talking to you and not their computer monitor.
Mm.
And they're like, yep, and that test was fine. Okay. And like, yeah, your blood pressure looks fine. And it's like, can you look me in the eyes while
See,
you're
my doctor doesn't
I'm
do
just
that.
fucking
She's so
nobody
awesome.
over here. Yeah.
She's so awesome. So I'm dealing with all this ADHD stuff. Then the pediatrician they're like, well, we don't believe in that.
Oh no.
Wait, they don't
I'm
believe
making-
in ADHD?
Yeah.
Give me a
No, they don't
Whose
test.
kid-
They don't test for that. They don't do for that.
I'd say 4 out of 5 families, one of the kids
has issues.
has issues.
Yeah. I was so like I was just like I'm so so I got to get in with this family doctor, and we took him for his first impression, and I just wanted to kiss her because
Yeah.
she like sat there and there was no time limit to the appointment.
I love that.
She wasn't like ready to run out the door. We
Yeah.
were talking about all the things. I'm like almost in tears or whatever, and she goes, "Well, here's what could be going on. These are your options of what could cause these symptoms. Yeah, it could be ADHD. That is a possibility." But she goes, I'm also feeling these lymph nodes and all that stuff. And she's like, they're really enlarged.
Mm.
She's like, so, are you crabby when you have a bad night's sleep? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, that's what he's
Yeah.
portraying too.
They don't know how to communicate it to us.
I'm like, so he went and got those out, and it was like night and day
Wow.
to start with. I mean, he
I
also
thought you were
has-
going to say it was red dye 5.
Yeah. He also has ADHD as well. He's got other symptoms going on.
Yeah.
But the fact that she sit there and she listened to me, and the same with the little one, she's always listening to me and myself. The only one that doesn't, the one I don't care about, my husband. No, he sees the doctor he's seen since he was a kid, so he's or not the pediatrician, but like
That guy's got to be like 80 though, right?
he does.
That's the
see it.
problem.
He does like he's not going to know what to do when that
Yeah.
guy is done. So, but
So for those that are looking for insurance or starting a new job,
Yeah,
what's the
hit me up.
best advice? And then give
hit me
all
up.
the
I mean,
information.
I'm free. I'm cheap. I'm like I just want to answer your question. Like, so if you're not sure what to do or you don't know anything, go to my Facebook, send me a message.
What is
I
your
will
Facebook?
The Facebook is Health Insurance Simple.
Health
yeah,
insurance.
Yeah, we follow
simple.
her. We follow
Okay.
her. Yeah.
Yeah, and go ask me any questions. I mean, like that's what it's there for. It's an informational platform so that you can just ask the questions like, what's a deductible? for a while I was doing like going over the meaning of like those EOBs and deductibles and all those terms.
Yeah.
These big terms that they throw at you and you're like, what the hell is that?
Start reposting.
Are they
them.
still on
Yeah.
there then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still on
Reshare
there. Yeah,
them.
I'll
or-
just
start
share 'em, yeah.
reposting them.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
we're in January, so this is the big time.
I was just going to
get
say, is
those
it like open
policies
enrollment
done.
right now, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So, or, when you get those questions, ask. And the biggest thing you get out of this is look at your EOBs.
Yeah.
Look at your EOBs. It's highly important because everybody's human. They make mistakes. I'm not saying the doctors do it intentionally. It happens, though.
Sometimes they do, though.
Yeah.
Possibly.
So
I'll be
Jerry's
the bad
got,
guy.
Jerry's got a phone on here and an email. So
Oh, good.
And
I would
email.
say if you email, give her at least 72 hours. She's a very busy lady. But-
I am. Yeah. I'm down to 2 jobs, though.
oh, that's great.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm down to 2 jobs, or just instant message me on there too. You can hit either one.
Okay,
Any
perfect.
questions on how to pick a policy, what's going to work best for
Yeah.
me, or if you just have like poor Meredith over there had a novel that she got after having a child. I mean,
You can help with all the codes and all that. Right?
I mean,
yeah.
and unfortunately, and you gotta be your own,
Advocate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
Yeah.
You have to, and there's always, if it's not covered in one way, there's other ways to go. And then something else I would like to mention is if you don't have insurance, always ask for cash pay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not the same.
So she said
Yeah.
always ask for cash pay in case
Yeah.
people are in their
Yeah.
cars and they can't hear.
Yeah. I've
seen
like mom in her
people-
truck.
Yeah.
Cash
I've
cash
seen-
is still
yeah.
king,
It is when
man,
it comes to
still
medical, huh?
king.
People have said, well, I redid it and said I didn't have insurance and it cost me $25. And with insurance, it was going to cost me $500,
Yeah,
What the heck?
It's terrible, but that does
It's sick.
sometimes.
Y'all are sick.
So speaking of my butt doctor, remember when you brought me?
Yeah. The hospital was beautiful.
The hospital was beautiful, and I got a phone call, and they said that I had paid too much. It was $3,000 or something, or it was like super shock to get everything done, or $1,700, something like that. And she was like,
paid
"Do you
too
want
much?
us to sit?" Yeah, that I paid too much when I was there. Do
you
you
giving
want
me a
us to? Yeah. Do you want us to send the check to the house, or do you want us to electronically put it on your? I said, "Send me a check." It was $2.
$2.
It was why did you even waste a phone call?
I kind of like that though.
It was
I mean,
$2.84.
You wanna
Like, let me
just
know when I
believe in
overpaid by $800.
the honesty in it though. Just
I
kinda,
get, that is very true, but I was thinking like $1,500 back. I got all excited. I'm like, oh, thank goodness we got great insurance. I don't have to pay for it. It was $2.84.
And I can't believe that your insurance made you pay anything on that because that's like preventative work, no?
That depends. All coding.
yeah, it's all coding, and
Coding.
it could have been like whatever my complaints were, and they were like, "This chick's crazy. She's got anxiety." Go listen to our other podcast, by the way. And maybe that's what they did. They coded it under like someone who has stomach aches because she's a nutcase.
This bitch is crazy. Charge her full price.
I'll be honest with you. You can even call your insurance company, and they can't tell you if that's why it's not covered, but it'll be in that EOB.
Okay, I should probably look again because I
Get
felt
it,
like something.
yeah.
Every single person I've told, they were like, "I'm sorry, how much did you pay?"
Johnny has been getting colonoscopy since he was in his early 40s because both of his parents had colon cancer. So it's recommended he gets them. He does not pay for a colonoscopy at all.
How long is it until you can call and ask about it?
Submitted on time. You can. It's endless. There's
Like, it's
no
been
end.
since when? November or something?
Yeah,
I
I
look
don't
at you
remember.
because you took me. Because you took me.
No, because we
They
changed
have-
the date 4 times.
I know
so.
we did. I had to go to the
have
Dave
a-
Matthews concert.
a year to submit the claim, but once the claim's submitted, as long as if you have questions on it, oh yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try that tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna follow up on
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah,
and let
look
you know
at-
what happened because
so-
everyone's like, "What?"
So I don't know those codes off the top of my head as well, but
She doesn't know butt codes.
No,
Butt
sorry.
codes.
I don't know. But
It's just funny.
it's just funny. But you're gonna look at if you look up the diagnosis code or give me the code,
Yeah.
there's gonna be something that could say explorative.
Oh,
If
okay.
if that's in it, that's they're not sure what's going on. They're just
looking.
They're just looking.
That
They're
was-
just checking it out. And a lot of times insurance, they're just like, I'm not going to pay for this expensive of a test just for you to just have a, you're shooting a dart at a board.
Sure.
Or
Right.
just you're guessing.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
But if it's more like she's got maybe polyps or she's got
Right.
something going on, then they're going to be like, yeah, we have to pay for that because
So
that's
I
more.
wish I had my paperwork when I had to go get my gallbladder taken out, right? So I go to the hospital in this panic attack because I'm in all this pain. I thought I was having a heart attack.
Oh, man.
And they were like, oh, girl, you just got gallstones. And I was like, okay. And they're like, go see this doctor. And I was like, okay. And he's like, we have to take it out. Like, you have these huge stones in there. That's what's causing all the pain. You could die from cancer if you just leave it in there. It'll rot away and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, make the appointment. Let's take it out. And then it was like Friday, and I'm getting my surgery Monday, and they're like, okay, well, you need to bring your pay stubs and this and that. And I was like, why do you need my pay stubs? And they're like, well, that's not going to cover it. Your insurance is not going to cover it. I said, why not? And they said, because you are electing to have it out. And I said, so if I went,
That's not necessarily true.
so I married my husband and got his good ass insurance and had no problem getting my gallbladder out.
Nice.
But I was like, are you serious? And I go, well, what would happen if I was having an attack right now and went to the hospital and they were like, we have to take it out right now? They're like, well, that would be an emergency. Of course we would cover that.
Right. So
You motherfuckers.
So yeah,
The worst.
there's the
It's the
difference between
worst.
elective. So is it life threatening at the time?
At the moment.
Right.
No.
Right.
I'm not currently having a gallbladder attack. But my doctor just told me, like, this could cause cancer in your body. If you leave it in there, it'll like turn sepsis and go
And then
gangrene and
he's
this
got
and
to
that.
code it that way.
I know. What the fudge?
So he's I get it. I get.
But I still let him take
get
it out. I still let him get that paycheck. Motherfucker.
Jeez.
But I will say that's the only surgery I had, and that was pretty easy. So,
Doesn't sound easy.
Because it was free.
well, I mean, like I was up and around the next day.
Oh.
Like
yeah.
it was easy on my body, you
Yeah,
know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I guess just make sure you read through everything. Be your own advocate.
Yeah, absolutely. Or
If
ask questions.
if they're telling you it's elective, go to the emergency room acting like you're in a
No.
bunch of pain.
no,
Is that what I'm
that's-
hearing?
That's not true.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
Like, elective
I thought about it.
surgeries are covered. They're just usually not covered at 100%.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So if you walked into an emergency room screaming and crying, would that work?
Well, it
Possibly.
just comes down to the coding thing.
That-
I think
Yeah,
they wanted
right.
to charge me like $30,000 for that, and I was like, "You are out of your mind."
Yeah,
I make
no.
$9.25 an hour. $9.25.
Let me know how your layaway is.
Yeah. Stupid.
Do they hang on to your gallbladder until you pay, and then
Yeah,
not,
right?
they can put it back in?
I didn't even get my stones after
Darn
the
it.
surgery.
Some people do, right? Is
I
that
know.
weird?
It is. I wouldn't want them.
Oh,
Well, thanks so much. This was
Yeah,
fun.
it was a lot of
amazing.
fun.
Reach out to Geri. Reach out to
Yes.
Geri. Health Insurance Simple. We'll share it on our page.
Yep.
Can
So-
you Google those codes?
Yeah. I can,
You know what's
I can
so much
teach
easier
you.
though? Emailing Geri.
Oh yeah.
I
But
can
I'm just
teach
saying,
you.
if you're like in the moment and you're like, what does this mean? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just like sometimes you don't want to watch, like a lot of people, I worked for like hip surgeons. Don't watch that surgery before you have it. done.
Ew. Hell no.
No, don't watch it. Don't
It was bad
mean,
enough I saw pictures of her butt.
You did not.
I saw the inside of her colon. I saw the inside of my gallbladder. I don't
Yeah.
want to see a hip replacement.
I'm going to tell this story
No.
again. Remember I told you I was watching that TikTok and the lady that had a colonoscopy and the lady said yes to seeing the,
No.
The
pictures in
video?
the video.
just say no.
And she started watching it and she went, "Whoa, no, this is a hairy ass. This isn't mine." And then she was like, "Oh my God, my name is up there. That is my hairy ass."
Get your butthole waxed before you go in for that
She was
colonoscopy.
freaking out. She's like, "I got somebody else's video and it wasn't. It was hers."
Can you imagine how unbothered they are by hairy buttholes?
Oh, I can't. Well, yeah, because men don't.
They're just like,
Yeah.
Once you see one hairy butthole, you've seen them all.
Yeah. I swear mine came back into the room. He's like, "Nice job prepping," and gave me a wink. I'm like, "You're very welcome."
It's like it was very clean.
Just kidding. He didn't wink.
He's like,
All right.
I like
this
them
one
clean booties.
I can see it.
All right. Well, thanks.
Okay,
Yeah,
bye
awesome.
everybody.
Bye. We'll talk to you next week.
next week.
Next week.